Let's discuss some effective methods for tracking your body transformation. Whether you're trying to build muscle or burn body fat, we want to make sure that your hard-earned time and effort is actually going towards yielding the results that you want. To achieve this, we're going to cover the 5 key areas that we work with people to ensure that they're on track for their body transformation success. Now make sure you stick around for numbers 4 and 5 because they're the most important ones. All right, let's get to it. Now the first area that we're going to track is training performance. Now if you're going into the gym and simply winging it week to week, that's a problem. Without evidence of your workout plan, which includes your exercise selection, your sets, reps, training volume, even how your workouts are organized over the week, we don't have that kind of data. We actually can't ascertain whether that workout plan is effective or if it isn't. So if this is you, let's start by getting a program and start tracking your workout performance. Now for those that are already following a program, it's important that we collate the data within that training program over a period of time to assess the effectiveness of it. We want to make sure that that person's going up in strength, that they're recovering well from the sessions, that we're training as hard as we need to at certain periods of the program. All of this information can be obtained from somebody who tracks their training performance, and if it's not where it needs to be, we have all of the information available to us to make adjustments to that training program. We can adjust the exercises, we can adjust the training volume, we can adjust the workout sequence. There's so many things that we can do when things aren't going our way if we have the information available to us. Now the next area that we want you guys to track is what we like to call our key performance indicators, or KPIs for short. Now these are factors that directly affect our progress. And examples of these include sleep, stress load, energy levels, recovery, diet compliance. Now with the addition of KPIs, you can essentially make better decisions. Rather than abandoning all your efforts at once because you've had a bad week and your physical data may not represent what you're trying to work towards, you have other information available to you that might just be, we had a bad week, we just need to ride things out, or we just need to make a small change that maybe isn't a wholesale change of like totally changing somebody's macros or totally changing someone's training plan. Maybe we need to de-stress or just ride out a really busy period and all of a sudden the results and the data really start to match up in the coming weeks. Now we're going to talk about body weight. So I know that this is one that most of you have probably tracked before, and I know some of you probably avoid tracking body weight too, because it can be highly inaccurate, and if it's not done properly, it can actually hamper your progress, and we don't want that happen. So body weight is the sum of total mass being pushed down on the ground, and we know that a lot of things influence that total sum of mass. A poor night's sleep, a stressful day at work, different food, different hydration status, all of these things can affect someone's body weight, and it can actually affect it so that it moves in the wrong direction, which can be somewhat demotivating for people. So what we want to do is still use body weight because it is a great gauge to see how the body is changing over a longer period of time, but we can't use it in isolation and we can't use it infrequently. So body weight is better done with more frequent exposures, and we like to use an average of 5 to 7 measurements per week. So if you're serious about getting results, you will weigh yourself probably more regularly because you want to see that average over the week, so that it takes out those fluctuations over that week for whatever reason. But if you're somebody who gets really demotivated by the scale and it's going to hinder your progress no matter what day or what time you jump on that scale and no matter what number that pops up there, then what we're saying is avoid this altogether and probably just use the other metrics that we're working with to obtain your progress, which is totally fine. Now I told you at the start of the video to wait till numbers 4 and 5 for the data tracking because I believe that these are the most important ones. Having worked with hundreds of people to transform their physiques and bodybuilders alike, I am confident in saying that these 2 data tracking metrics are the most important ones for measuring your progress for your body transformation. Now the first one is using some form of body tracking. Now the easiest way to do that is using a tape and taking body measurements across sites on your body. So we have your arms, we have your thighs, we have your waist, your chest, your shoulders, you can do your calves as well. And that gives us a really good idea of how the body is changing in terms of its shape. You might be embarking in a specific program to develop a specific muscle group or shape your body in a particular way. You might want bigger glutes, you might want bigger arms, you might want bigger shoulders. Using these body measurements gives you an idea of the circumference of that particular limb or body part and gives us an idea of whether the training that we're doing and we're tracking is becoming effective, is actually getting the results that we want. Now, another thing measurements can do is actually give us a bit more of a story that things like our body weight don't typically show. And I've seen it in cases where people have recompositioned their physique, so they've improved the shape of their physique, but their weight hasn't necessarily changed, but they've actually decreased the circumference of their waist, maybe put on a bit of size around their hips, maybe their shoulders. So if they just use the scale as their only gauge of progress, they would probably get somewhat disappointed. But because we're using body measurements to track their progress, they can actually see that they're getting smaller around the waist and probably more developed in the areas that they want to build that shape. And the last one, which is highly important to tracking your body transformation progress, is progress photos. We want a visual representation of your progress over a period of time. Now, I know the initial before shot can be quite daunting. Obviously, we're about to embark on our body transformation. For some people, they don't want to get in front of a camera. They don't want to get, in their underwear to take that picture. But you would be amazed at the amount of people that miss out on gauging that body transformation and seeing that difference from start to finish. And they're absolutely kicking themselves at the end when they've transformed their physique and they know they used to look a certain way and they didn't actually get to see it. Now, when you take your progress photos, a front, back, and side shot is all you need in the same environment with the same lighting, preferably with the same camera lens. Now, in terms of time frame, every 2 to 4 weeks is a good duration, just so you can see you've got enough time to see the differences from one shot to the other. Now, just like measurements, photos can capture things that numbers don't necessarily show. There's been instances time and time again where people have looked noticeably better from experiencing that recomposition when they go to transform their physique. They've put a little bit of muscle on, they've dropped a little bit of body fat, but they essentially have been the same body size, same body weight, and that can be really disheartening when they just use scale weight as the only gauge of their progress. But when they take their photos, they can see that they've looked different. So this is why we want to tackle our results tracking on multiple different fronts. We don't want to use only one thing to gauge our progress because it doesn't tell the whole story. And sometimes whatever story that tells can be quite disappointing for that person. But if they tracked progress in the other areas, all the other indicators are showing that they are making the progress. So instead of hindering their motivation and their progress, it's actually helping. So by monitoring your training performance, your KPIs, your body weight as well more regularly, your body measurements, and your progress photos, this gives you a comprehensive way to track your results over a period of time to give you the best information possible on whether you're making progress or not. And it also gives you more data on what the best decision to make when you've actually hit a plateau. Now, if you're somebody who wants to transform their physique and wants to take everything that we've applied here into a system that's already ready to go, where you can track your photos, you can put your measurements in, you can track your training performance, you can track things like your nutrition, there's workouts in there for you to embark on. We actually have a comprehensive body transformation guide that you guys can access completely free, which will be in the link in the description, so you can get access to everything you need to start transforming your physique day one.